tellers agree in their tallies that the total number of votes cast is 428, of which the Honorable Kevin McCarthy of the state of California has received 216. Therefore, the Honorable Kevin McCarthy of the state of California, having received a majority of the votes cast, is duly elected Speaker of the House of Representatives. Speaker of the House of Representatives. Gates. Present. David Scott. Jeffries.
Well, thank you all. Now I want to see you write that I actually won, okay? It took a little longer than we thought, but if there's one thing I want the country to hopefully learn about me this week is that I will never give up. That means I'll never give up for you, that we will continue to fight for you to make sure we follow through on the commitment to America. There's a lot of members I want to thank my conference. A lot of people worked really hard to put this together. I mean, Garrett Graves, Patrick McHenry, Westerman, French Hill, Chip Roy, and Scott Perry. And they really worked together at that end to put it all through, and just all the different members and hanging with me through all those different votes. But I do want to especially thank President Trump. I don't think anybody should doubt his influence. He was with me from the beginning. Somebody wrote the doubt of whether he was there, and he was all in. He would call me, and he would call others. And he really was, I was just talking to him tonight, helping get those final votes. And what he's really saying, really for the party and the country, that we have to come together. We have to focus on the economy. We've got to focus, make our borders secure. We've got to do so much work to do, and he was a great influence to make that all happen. So thank you, President Trump.
About what he did specifically, did he make
Could you walk through what happened on the floor here? Heading into the 14th ballot, you thought you had the votes. Suddenly you were surprised. There was a heated confrontation on the floor. You had an exchange with Matt Gaetz. What happened?
It wasn't a heated one between Matt and I, no. What I was telling him is I'd rather win on the 15th. So we went to another ballot. That was a joke, but you didn't catch it, right? No, what happened was it became a tie. And I really think Matt had talked to me before. Matt really wanted to get everybody there. And so look, through all of this, people's emotions go up and down. And at the end of the night, Matt got everybody there from the point that nobody voted against the other way. So it actually helped unite people.
But what changed from them going from voting against you to voting present on the next vote? Was it President Trump, his specifically?
Well, President Trump talked to a lot, but I also think it's them and wanting to make this conference united and work together. So I thanked him for that. And Matt worked hard on that as well. But, yes.
How do you prevent a situation like this from happening on every tight, contested vote going forward over the next 2 years of your speaker?
I think what you will see by having this now, we've worked out how to work together. You know, it's a little more difficult when you go into a majority and maybe the margins aren't high. I mean, if you study American history, this was the closest margin than any first person to win a speaker in the last 70 years. But if you look at the end of the day of how many people voted against me, it was the smallest margin that any modern speaker has had. So it may have taken a little longer, and I always like to quote my father. You know, he died 23 years ago, but he would tell, it's not how you start, it's how you finish. So don't judge us on how we start, watch how we finish. And I think by having the disruption now, really built the trust with one another and learned how to work together. What we're going to have to find in our mindset is that we have to front load, that we have to think about and work on the bills with a microcosm of the conference before we even start writing it. And that's really what we learned here. And working the rules, there were a lot of great ideas. At the end of the day, I remember on the January 1st, we did this conference call with the entire conference. And when we walked through all the rules, people were excited. People were mad before, like, what were you working on? Why was it holding all up? But at the end of the day, the product was better. So maybe 100 years from now, some master student will have to write about this. But really what most people will write about or feel is the outcome of how well we'll run the floor for the next 2 years.